It is my pleasure to be here to be guest at this the paper's Agribusiness Forum, whose title is Defeating Sustainable Agriculture, the Business Case for More Sustainable Food System. I think this is very, very critical, as we know that our agriculture plays a very, very pivotal role in our country. We know the statistics. We contribute more than 15% of the GDP, and if we put the value chain players, we are much, much more. So agriculture is very, very important. Obviously, there is always this debate about how many people are employed in agriculture, but the truth of the matter is that formally is more than 20%, which is very significant. And for those people whose lives depend on agriculture, we know that all people depend on one way or the other on agriculture. But 70% directly have livelihoods pinned on agriculture. Obviously, the 63% of our raw materials, they come from agriculture. I mean, that is why Zimbabwe is then said to be an agro-based economy. So we owe a lot to agriculture, and the successes that we have seen in the past year in agriculture are very significant contributors to economic development. And obviously we have seen the IMF, they've given us growth, their growth assessments, GDP growth and so forth, which are quite significant, and we owe that to agriculture. So whatever we do, we can't run away from the importance of agriculture in Zimbabwe. Don't worry, I don't normally read the speeches. I'm trying to follow the script. So far, I think I've done very well in getting on the script. But it's important, and we owe it to ourselves to develop and make agriculture sustainable and make agriculture contribute more to our economy. We all of us here, even if you're not agricultural, you understand agriculture one way or the other. That's the truth. And so if we talk, whatever I talk here is, if it's not familiar to you, it's not agriculture. We know that we need food security in our country. If we have food security, we are good. Whatever we talk about, if the farmers provide us with enough food, we are happy. Which is why this year we are really excited. We are already in November, and we still have food in the country. That is unprecedented, and we can clap hands to that. So food security, we define it on two levels. And the first level is food security at household level. And it's important what I'm going to say, because this is the philosophy that the ministry is moving with. So we define our agriculture food security at two levels. One is at household level, and then the other one is at national level. And the household level is very important for all of us to understand that every household must have enough food to last beyond the year. And all programs that we do as government, we emphasize at this level of household food security. So when we are faced with climate change, like we are now, and particularly this season when we are going to see the effects of the El Nino, we must understand that we can't start talking about food security elsewhere except at the household level. And whatever programs we do as government, we must focus to, does every household have the capacity to produce enough for itself before they start talking about selling. So when we talk about the Vuvudza program, that program is focused on producing enough at the household level and averting household food insecurity. That is what Vuvudza is all about. So we climate proof. So whether there is El Nino or there is going to be an El Nino or not, we have a formula for climate proofing and producing food, enough food at the household level. So I'm told that by the Met Department, I'm told that there's going to be a few rains over the weekend. And those are not going to be significant for the start of summer, but if you are doing Vuvudza, such little rain start to be significant because you collect it, you harness it, you store it, and you make sure that it doesn't get vaporized into the air. So that is the essence of Vuvudza, climate proofing our production at the household level. In that program, we are providing 3 million house beneficiaries across the country with inputs. And we are also, further to that, we are providing 500,000 beneficiaries in towns with inputs. And these beneficiaries should be able to adhere to the principles of conservation agriculture or Vuvudza. So when you say do the potholing, hauling out, mulching, and put lime and so forth, those are basic things that anyone who wants to be involved in climate proofing and conservation agriculture must do. The only problem is that we are dealing with 3.5 million beneficiaries. If you want 3.5 million people whom we are telling to dig. I can tell you even here we are just less than 100. If I tell you to do something, I can bet 50% of us will say, what? Okay? So 50 of you, and then I repeat again, 75% will start doing. Then I really take a shampoo, and then maybe 90%, there will still be 10% who don't do. So out of 3 million, we know that not all of them will do. In fact, in our assessments, we have noted that the adoption rate of Vuvudza is not 100%. Last year, we did 5.5 million of these plots, but the actual plots we need are 9.5 million in the minimum. 3 million households, each one doing 3 plots, that's 9 million. Then the 500,000 in towns doing 1 plot each, so 9.5 million. That's the minimum we want. If we do that, we have food security at household level. So that's the first level of climate proofing that we are doing. The second one regards irrigation. So irrigation now, we are saying that's for to really mitigate and climate proof on a larger scale. So irrigation development is key. Climate change will always be with us. And no matter how much we want to wish it away, it will continue to be worse. So I'm told by my team in Muzi today that this morning temperatures are already at 37 degrees Celsius. You can imagine when it's 2 o'clock. That's Muzi. We haven't talked about Kadoma and Chirez and Zaraban, those areas that are endemically hot and waiting, where you pass through when you want to run away from Zimbabwe. So, the situation about climate change is unprecedented. We will have climate change, and we must develop our irrigation in order to climate proof at the larger scale. So irrigation schemes are now pivotal in the face of climate change. We have 460 irrigation schemes dotted around the country. By the time we did the winter programming, we were sitting on 331 irrigation schemes which all grew wheat, which means they get capacity to irrigate. We still have these ones which we are rapidly rehabilitating to make sure that they come to production. But those irrigation schemes, the 460 of them, Dr. Makombe, they will give us 20,000 hectares of guaranteed production. We have capacity in the country to irrigate about 220, currently 220,000 hectares currently. We still need to develop more irrigation around the huge water bodies that we have. So the capacity of Agribussiness currently is untapped. There is no irrigation scheme there. The capacity of Lake Mutiri is still untapped. It was irrigating the sugarcane, but because of Agribussiness, now it is filled for the first time in 15 years. We can go and do tourism and watch the spillway, but that's not the project. The project is when we start to harness that water and use it for irrigation in machine. And we have all these other things. We sing about them. That's not singing about the devil. This is not the project. The project is when we start harnessing the water and making it into production. So irrigation and harnessing water are the key things that we must preach about. Tell investors to come and invest in our agriculture, harnessing water. And remember, the water is the enabler to agricultural production. For all the irrigation capacity we have, if we are able to put all the 220,000 hectares, remove the tobacco people who do some irrigation, you remove those who do blueberries, you remove those who irrigate soya, you remain with about 80,000 hectares that you can put to maize, for example. You add the 20,000 hectares from the irrigation schemes, we have about 100,000 hectares that we can mobilize and say, let's put these to maize, for example, to mitigate against hunger. So if you do quick maths, which some of you ran away when you were Form 4, didn't want to do maths, but I want to take you back there, because then you went to do other things which are very important, but then you didn't want to do maths, you didn't want to calculate. But 100,000 times 5 tons per hectare, that will give you 500,000 metric tons, which is enough for our strategic grain reserve. Or it's enough if you take by the collections that are done at GMB, 30,000 or so metric tons per month, means we have quite some month's cover of food if we put it even at 500,000. So we can climate-proof our agriculture and be able to produce enough. We are also, as government, we understand, I know that many people are worried, so you are talking about this irrigation and so forth, but how are the farmers going to be producing? This is the question that Farmer Kombe would always ask. Farmers, everyone would support. We have tried to segregate our production so that we cater for every farm. Our programming is such that we link every program to a financing. So we know that the first group is those farmers that can finance themselves. So the self-financed farmers are very critical. These fall into the category of those who have capacity to finance, so they don't want any resources from outside. Then we have those that will finance themselves from meager resources. So So, for example, as government, we support part of what the farmers produce. The rest, they really self-finance. So the self-financed farmers are very critical, who harness their own resources, look for their own resources and produce. So the first category of the farmers that is there, which is very critical. And we encourage these farmers to always prepare. And these ones, they know the adage that what is that? Favors the prepared. I don't know the other way. Fortune. I wanted to say production, good production favors. Because fortune doesn't sound right. I think it's productivity, right? Productivity favors the prepared. So high productivity favors the prepared. So these farmers understood that, and they always prepare well ahead of the season, because productivity then favors the prepared. And these farmers, Dr. Kobe, are the farmers that you want, who don't worry about anything, they worry about prices when they produce. So that's the first category of farmers. The second category of farmers are those farmers that we support as government. The 2.5 million that I was talking about, we provide them with inputs. So we finance those ones. And these inputs that we provide under Fumbuza and the government programs are free, because that's the government contribution. We've heard some farmers say Fumbuza yambadariswa and so forth. That's not true. Fumbuza inputs are free. So that's the second category of our financing program. The third one is the private sector financing, where the huge contractors have come together to form Food Crops Contractors Association, FCCA. And under that umbrella, FCCA, that association, is a large number of contractors. So most of your private contractors fall under FCCA. And those, we sit with them and we discuss targets. How much are you going to produce? How much are you going to finance? How are you going to finance? And they are genuine people whom we deal with, who harness finance and support for the farmers that they contract. The fourth category of financing is the NEAPS. So the National Enhanced Productivity Support Scheme. So that NEAPS is critical. It's what the government supports through the banks. So the banks are there as their business to finance agriculture. What we do as government is to provide a guarantee to say, in the face of a land farmer, we are then able to make sure that you get your money back. So it's a government guaranteed program which is supported by the banks. So under this, we now have 3 banks, FC, CBZ, and NMB. So those banks, we give them targets, or we agree on targets on what they can produce. So we know that for this season, through those 4 programs, we have arranged our production, and we know that we will not fail. So if there is any farmer who doesn't fall in these 4 categories, they are not in Zimbabwe. Because all farmers who want to produce, they fall into these 4 categories. And even if they are self-financed, we still know and record them. So this farmer is going to produce 200 hectares, and we know where they are, and we start to track them, so that in terms of having sustained the production, we know exactly what is being produced and when. We have said for this season, particularly where we have the El Nino and the scale of climate change challenge, we have said, let's make sure that everyone who produces, who has irrigation, they must prioritize food security. which is maize. So we are tracking everyone with irrigation. If they are not putting it to maize, we want to know what they are putting it under. If it's slightly damaged, we want to make sure that it's back and it's repaired, put to maize. And I'm happy to say that we already started to see farmers really coming on board with large hectares to support the food security trust. Irrigation schemes have started to plant. I know your Chivo irrigation scheme started over the weekend. They are putting 120 hectares, all under maize, in a bid to make sure that Zimbabwe remains food secure. So that is the programming that we are doing. We also, in the past, where we used to fight a lot with the maize, it was not PS then. So I must make that distinction. It wasn't part of it. So now there is liberalization of marketing. In the past, I think the problem has always been maize is a controlled product and you must deliver to GMB, and so we could easily track what GMB has to be able to determine how much has been traded. But now we have various platforms. We SI 59 of 2023 has liberalized the marketing of commodities, maize included, soya. So we have all these different platforms now where farmers can get value. So the ZMX platform is there, which over the last few months it has been operating on a price discovery mechanism. They traded quite a bit of maize, and now, as of this morning, they started trading on wheat. Remember, wheat is being harvested, and farmers have already started to use that platform to trade. And remember, we announced 520 US dollars per ton of wheat, and on the ZMX platform, where farmers have started to deliver, the price has been ranging from 400 to 425. This is price discovery in a liberalized market system. So that is what we are doing too, so that farmers have options. But if you are contracted to a contractor, do the needful, pay back, deliver to a contractor. If you don't want money immediately, deliver to GMB. Is the buyer of last resort, which is what GMB must be, a buyer of last resort. Or if you don't want to sell to anyone else, come to GMB and give us, we'll store it for you. And then we pay when the money becomes available. But so I have people coming to GMB and saying, where is the maize? We need you to have maize. I want to tell you, if you sold maize to GMB, would you sell maize to GMB? No. Would you sell maize to GMB? No. So whose maize is it GMB?
There is no maize.
So we need to understand that if they liberalize the economy and the marketing system, farmers have options. I went to Mtoko Murewa the other time. I was monitoring Fuvuza like I always do. And I got there and saw this farmer with Makomba and all that. And then I said, so are you happy with Fuvuza? He said, come here. And he showed me his granite. This was end of September, with 34 by 50 kg bags of maize in that granite. So after that, I was asked, where is the maize? That granite, that granite, and that granite. When you aggregate that, you would find that we have so much maize in Zimbabwe. And certainly that farm is food security. And that is what we must focus on, household food security. And then the bigger farmers must be allowed to have options to sell, because farming is a business. not a charity case. So those farmers that are big enough and that grow as a business must be able to sell where they want to sell to the best of their advantage and of their appetite. After that, farmers can then go to holiday. I've never seen a farmer on holiday. No more farmers people go on holiday this year. They need to start now. So they must make money so that they go for holiday. So we are trying to address the marketing challenges, which I think the SI 59 addressed that largely to ensure that we have a liberalized marketing system. We are also addressing the mechanization challenges. This, you would know that we always had challenges, particularly when it came to harvesting wheat and so forth. But now we have quite a number of combine harvesters. We do have challenge with the rains, like I said. Wheat is still out there, but the Department of Mechanization and the banks that they operate with, they are busy availing combines and harvesting wheat. So now with the contingents of combine harvesters we have in the country, we can manage to plan with enough combines. We still need more, but currently they are adequate. We do have quite a number of tractors to assist in tillage. Not enough, but we are making great strides in the mechanization arena. So we, as you know, we have capacitated the FC leasing company. You don't have to own a tractor in order to do your tillage. You don't have to own a combine in order to do the combining services. FC leasing company is there. They have these combines, these equipment, tractors, so that when you have a small plot, when you rent a piece of land like you all do, you can access, go do your tillage on Saturday. Land you 3 hectares. On Monday you are back at work. You don't have a tractor, but the services you have. So you grow in maize. And then when in March, when it's ready for harvesting, hire that combine again. In a few hours, you have your bags of maize. So talk of innovative workers like yourselves, who don't depend on one stream of income, who always rent pieces of land. Access these services or do your business, make money, so that you don't complain to your employer about a salary increase all the time. Believe you me, I work for government. Civil servants are known for poor salaries. If our salaries are broadcast, no, maybe we should also have your salaries put in the newspaper. Say, lowest paid civil servant is earning 30,000 RTGs. Who does that? And I'm on your own salary, please. Nobody will discuss. Cool. But when you do, even when you are renting a piece of land, access these services. This is why the leasing company is there and these mechanization services are there to make it easier on your part. Even if it's a farmer, you want to do your things on time, have additional services from what the government has provided. So our expectation as government is that there will be an immediate and long-lasting impact in the agricultural sector through our strategy, which we call the agricultural food systems and transformation strategy. In fact, now we have renamed it to the agricultural food systems and rural transformation strategy, which is in line with NDS1. But in there, we have really unpacked how we are going to be impactful in each and every sector in Zimbabwe. I urge you now to fully contribute and deliberate on issues that will result in an improved agribusiness sector in Zimbabwe, affecting all the critical value chains. We need you to come up with constructive arguments, constructive contributions, so that tomorrow you can then say, I attended this seminar and I contributed. I can see that what I contributed is being implemented. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Zimpepers for organizing this workshop. I think this is one of the many that Zimpepers must organize. I think we can clap hands for them. We want to see this so that many people can get this information. We want to see this here in Harare, in Bulawayo, in Chennai. I hear there's something being organized for weather. You know, we want the pain of this so that farmers, all stakeholders have a platform to contribute to the agribusiness value chain and to the agricultural sector at large. So that is what we really want to applaud you for organizing this. With these few remarks, I hope they were few. If you've been many years as a lecturer, I was paid to talk and talk. I can talk and talk. The good thing is I then produce people who can talk also. So I would want to really thank you with these remarks. I now want to declare the workshop officially open and wish you a productive and fruitful workshop. Thank you.